What's up, YouTube? Zero here. Welcome to the place where gamers, witches, wizards, and superheroes unite. Today, I have the Elder Dragon Teostra in Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. So in this video, I'm going to show you the egg you need to look for in case you do want to get a Teostra of your own. I'm going to tell you its weaknesses, the farming location. I'm going to give some general background information on the Teostra. And of course, I'm going to give my personal opinion on the Teostra as well. So currently you are seeing my Teostra versus an enemy Teostra. You should not do this. You should switch around monsties as the Teostra is very powerful. But I'll get into that in a little bit. Before I get into it, I do want to say if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Monster Hunter Stories 2 content. I do a bunch of other video game videos, so feel free to check those out as well. You can see in the top hand corner the egg you need to look for if you want to get a Teostra. So it is red with what looks like a purple star. I think it's purple. My eyes could be off, but it looks like a purple hue and a red egg. If you look at a Teostra, the colors are pretty much the same. So that's going to be the egg you are looking for. Now, something to note, you cannot make the Teostra retreat. You can face the Teostra all you want. You can use all the tricks in the book. You can use a paintball, and the Teostra will not retreat. You need to grind for it, and where you're going to have to grind is those online co-op missions. Now, there are specific areas in those co-op missions that you want to utilize in order to get, or at least try and find, a Teostra egg. So there are different fields where you can grind. There's jungle, woodland, snowy mountain, desert, flowery, and volcanic. Not all of those are going to have Teostra. Each different location will have different Elder Dragon eggs that you can obtain. If you want to specifically obtain the Teostra, you're going to want to grind in either the jungle, the Explore Jungle co-op mission, or the Explore Volcanic co-op mission. Both of those give you an opportunity to get the egg that we just saw for a Teostra. So just a note again, you want to go into the co-op Explore. Has to be a super rare ticket, so make sure you're using a super rare ticket. So utilize a super rare ticket in the jungle Explore or in the volcanic Explore. Super rare, hopefully you can get a Teostra. Now, if you want to just grind for Teostra materials, this Teostra that I'm facing is in Elder Layer Zone 9. So it's going to be end game, very far end game. Elder's Layer Zone 9 is pretty much as far back as you can get. And that's where you're going to be able to grind for Teostra shards. It does have some decent weapons that you can utilize. I don't like the armor as much, but the weapons are pretty decent. So grinding against the Teostra is definitely something that I've been doing. Now let's talk about facing the Teostra and when the Teostra is in your party, because it has some weaknesses that you need to utilize, and it likes to switch it up. So typically, and you saw my Teostra, and you'll continue to see my Teostra, typically the Teostra in your party is a power type attacker. It loves utilizing those power type moves. So when you utilize your Teostra, you want to face monsters that like technical type moves because power beats technical. However, when you are facing this Teostra, of course, it loves to be different. It loves to confuse you. When you start against this Teostra in the Elder's Lair Zone 9, it's going to start out with speed. Very quickly, however, you are going to enrage it. After it gets enraged, it is going to flip to power, which is what we typically see a Teostra use. Then once it starts flying, so once it gets in the air, it's going to utilize technical type moves. So it does utilize all three. You want to make sure that you're utilizing the right move when you are facing the Teostra. So again, It starts with speed, when it gets enraged it goes to power, and then when it's flying it goes to technical. If you want to dole out more damage, then aim for those water type attacks, as the Teostra is weak to water. Now on its body parts, when you're aiming at the head, you want to use either a slashing weapon, so your swords, or a blunt weapon, so your hammer. When you're aiming at its stomach, you can actually use any weapon. The slashing, blunt, and piercing all deal out more damage. When you're aiming at its tail, we're going to go back to that sword and blunt. When you're aiming at the wings, you want to utilize a piercing, so your bow and arrow. So again, head and tail, you can utilize a sword and a hammer. Stomach, you can use anything you want, and the wings utilize a bow and arrow. So now let's talk about just the basic info. Wreathed in flame. They wield blistering breath attacks, easily angered. Any who stand against them face their unyielding molten judgment. The guild monitors their movements and moves due to the threat they pose. And fun fact that I was reading on the Monster Hunter Wiki is that Teostras actually eat coal, which allows them that fire breath, which is absolutely awesome. I was reading that on the Wiki the other day, which is, of course, some badass stuff to read. So, the Teostra does have 2 riding actions, a lava dive, which allows you to walk across lava, and roar. I'm not a huge fan of roar. Lava dive is okay, so not the best riding actions, but it does have 2, which is always nice. You get to utilize more riding actions. We already talked, this is weak to water. The Teostra is weak to water, so just a note, when you want to take it out, utilize that water. Now let's talk about the Teostrophy 0. That is its kinship move. It's pretty awesome. Through the roaring inferno appears the Flame King. Teostra's the Flame King. Firing a blistering hot beam of light from its mouth, it turns all around it to ash. This is the power of a true king. Deals damage to all enemies. And of course, a Teostra is pretty much a griffin. You can see it has the head and face of a lion, and the wings, we can call it eagle wings. Looks somewhat like eagle wings. So it would represent Gryffindor if you're looking up there. Of course, one of the reasons why the Teostra is in my top 5 favorite monsters, because I love lions, and it represents my house in Harry Potter, which is Gryffindor. So that's absolutely awesome. I think it looks awesome as well. Now we've gone over most of the Teostra. Let's actually talk about the confirmed genes for the Teostra, the ones that you're going to get when you do unlock your Teostra. It actually has 3 extra large genes and the cooling gene. So the cooling gene just allows you heat resistance when you are in volcanic areas. So it's not great. If you are grinding out for a good gene pool, you're probably going to get rid of it. But it does have 3 amazing moves. So it has the Fireball gene extra large, which the active skill is Supernova. That deals massive fire damage to all enemies and has a high chance to inflict burn for 3 turns. Then we have the Dust gene extra large, which is Dust Explosion, which deals heavy fire damage to random enemies and a high chance to inflict Blast Blight. So against more powerful enemies, Blast Blight is absolutely amazing. Against some of the weaker enemies that you can finish off pretty quickly, it's not as good because you can finish off the enemy before Blast Blight comes into effect. And finally, the Explosion gene extra large, which is your Ignition Flare. Deals heavy fire damage to all enemies and instantly causes Blast Blight. I love the Teostra. It has 3 epic moves. I love all 3 of these moves: the Ignition Flare, the Supernova, and the Dust Explosion. Blast Blight can be amazing when you're facing very tough enemies, especially in those super rare co-op missions that you're going to be grinding for some of those Elder Dragons. I think the Teostra is one that you want to put in any party. It is a power type monster. There are a lot of great power type monsters in this game, but the Teostra is definitely worth a spot in your party. I absolutely love it. Top 5 in my opinion, best monsters in the game is the Teostra. It's an Elder Dragon, of course, so it is extremely powerful. But let me know in the comments section what you think about the Teostra. Are you utilizing it? Are you currently grinding for it if you don't have it? Let me know, and let me know what you think about his equipment. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Until next time, peace.